Welcome again. Now in this video, again let's proceed further in the physical examination part, the palpation. This slide we have already seen in the previous video, and these were the headings: 7 in this box plus 9 in this box. Total 16 headings are there in palpation, and 15 headings were there in inspection. In the previous video we have discussed the addition, new words in the palpation as compared to inspection. So let's go one by one. The first one is temperature. Why the first one is temperature? It should always be the first thing to examine, to look for during palpation, the temperature. If there is excessive vascularity of the swelling and the local temperature is raised, it is usually suggestive of two things. It could be an inflammatory or infective swelling, or it could be a mesenchymal tumor that is having a very good blood supply, well vascularized tumor, for example sarcoma. So always rule out these two things: infective swelling or inflammatory swelling and mesenchymal tumor like sarcoma. Why done first? Because if you're not going to examine the temperature, look for temperature of the swelling, overlying skin temperature, the manipulation of swelling may increase the temperature without any significant underlying cause. So always, before manipulating the swelling while palpation, always see the temperature first. And this temperature is best felt by our back of the fingers. The back of the fingers are more sensitive for temperature sense as compared to the palmar aspect. Next is tenderness. After checking the temperature, the overlying temperature of a swelling, next important thing is to check the tenderness. This tenderness is a sign, you already know that, and usually we are supposed to elicit it, not the patient to tell that, okay, I'm having tenderness. No, tenderness means we are going to elicit. Pain means patient is going to complain. You're not touching the patient, but patient is complaining. Okay, I'm having this pain. That is a symptom. But if you are eliciting some sign and then patient is feeling the pain on exerting pressure by us, that is a sign, the tenderness. So tenderness is basically pain. The patient when complains of pain when pressure exerted by us over the swelling. And during this process, it is always better to look the patient's facial expression, wincing or not. That will give you an idea whether the swelling is tender or not. And then why it is important to look for tenderness? Because some swelling, some conditions are like they are usually tender. They usually present with the tender swelling. And some conditions are they usually present with non-tender swellings. For example, if the swelling is tender, the most probably patient is having inflammatory cause. Whereas if the swelling is non-tender, the patient may be having a neoplastic cause. And for that, the further workup should be done. Right? Inflammatory or neoplastic. Inflammatory tender, neoplastic, usually non-tender. Then comes the shape, size and extent, SSE. Shape of the swelling, size of the swelling and extent of the swelling, right? In shape, size and extent, we are going to look for the deeper dimension of swelling. And in this process, we are going to measure the vertical and horizontal dimensions. We can simultaneously hold the swelling while measuring. The accurate measurement can be done during palpation, and it should be mentioned in the case sheet in centimeters. If required, we can sketch the swelling, indicating the position of the swelling, exact position of the swelling, where it is lying, and we must try to find the complete extent of the swelling if possible. Then comes the surface. For assessing the surface of the swelling, we must use our Palmer surface. If the surface is smooth, most likely patient is having a cyst. If the surface is nodular, could be a case of matted lymph nodes. Lobular, with the smooth bumps over the swelling, could be a case of lipoma. And finally, if the surface is rough or irregular, could be a case of carcinoma or malignancy. Then comes the edge or margin. We are going to palpate the edge of a swelling or margin of a swelling. It could be well-defined or indistinct margin. If patient is having a swelling who is having well-defined edge, the possibilities are either patient is having neoplastic swelling or a chronic inflammatory swelling. Whereas if the margin or edge is indistinct means the merging with the surrounding structures, not clearly defined. Patient may be having acute inflammatory swelling, acute inflammatory, recent origin inflammatory swelling is there, right? Important thing is edge either well defined or ill defined. Ill defined, acute inflammatory. Well defined, either neoplastic or chronic inflammatory. If well defined, either it could have a smooth margin suggestive of benign growth, or it could have an irregular margin suggestive of malignant growth. The important thing is the margins are usually we are going to palpate with the tips of fingers. And usually the well-defined swellings, they tend to slip away from the finger, right? Well-defined margin, usually the benign swelling, they tend to slip away from our finger. For example, for differentiating lipoma versus a cyst, and both the swellings are having smooth margin, then how to differentiate? Here comes the role of slip sign. Lipoma versus cyst. Slip sign. What is slip sign? Whenever we are palpating the swelling with fingers, the tip of the fingers, if that is moving away from the finger and not yielding, it means it's a solid swelling, more in favor of lipoma. So slip sign, if that is suggestive of that swelling is slipping away from the finger but does not yield, no depression is being formed, it's just slipping away, it is suggestive of solid swelling. Example, lipoma. However, if the swelling is containing liquid, means cystic swelling is there, it will not slip. Instead of slipping, it will yield. For example, dermoid cyst, right? So here how we can differentiate between the lipoma versus a cyst, the slip sign. Then comes the consistency. What is the consistency of a swelling? It could be uniform consistency or variable consistency. Variable consistency usually seen in cases of malignancy or the teratomas. A uniform consistency seen in various swellings. We are just going to discuss. The consistency could be like soft to hard, and basically it depends upon the composition of the swelling, the structures, what are the structures or tissues that are present inside the swelling. It decides whether the swelling will be soft or hard. So any swelling having an uniform consistency, if the swelling is soft and solid, means slipping away, not yielding, slip sign. Diagnosis: lipoma. If cystic, could be seen in case of chronic abscess or cyst containing liquid, right? Slip sign: will not slip, the swelling will not slip away, but it will yield, right? Cystic swelling. Then firm consistency, suggestive of fibroma. The hard but yielding, the chondroma, related to cartilage tissue. Hard and not yielding and hard like a bone, the osteomas, the bone tumors. And hard, not yielding, but hard like a stone, more harder than a bone. It could be cases of carcinoma. Almost these two things look like hard only, practically. But yes, sometimes we may differentiate, okay, this one is harder as compared to a bone swelling. So in favor of carcinoma, right? Uniform consistency. Sometimes the swelling which are gaseous in origin means content is gaseous. Usually we are going to feel the crepitus as seen in surgical emphysema or gas gangrene cases, right? So remember, swelling content could be a liquid or it could be a gas. So even in gaseous swelling, uniform consistency may be there. We may feel the crepitus, surgical emphysema, gas gangrene cases, and it must be remembered. Variable consistency indicates malignancy. For example, the malignancy of epithelial origin or the mesenchymal origin. The epithelial origin is carcinoma. The mesenchymal origin is the sarcoma, the mesenchymal tumor, right? Variable consistency. In response to pressure, we are applying the pressure with our fingers. The question is whether the swelling is getting molded or not. If yes, and if the content is, if the swelling is getting molded, it is suggestive of the content that it could be putty-like material, and the differential diagnosis could be a sebaceous cyst, a dermoid cyst, or sometimes a fecal loaded colonic swelling. The colonic swelling containing fecal mass. So these are the three important things: the sebaceous, the dermoid, and colonic swelling containing fecal mass. This will get molded on application of pressure, right? Whereas if the swelling is spitting on pressure, it is suggestive of inflammatory origin. And till now we have finished the rectangular box content. That's 7 points. And we are going to discuss this eighth one and subsequent 2 or 3 further points. The fluctuation part. Fluctuation is a test seen or we are supposed to do if the content is liquid or gas, because any swelling containing a liquid or gas, it fluctuates. And how to do it? Fluctuation test. If a swelling is there and we are supposed to use one finger of each hand on both the poles of swelling, and we are going to apply sudden pressure on one pole of swelling, that will generate a pressure wave, and increased pressure inside cavity will be transferred to its wall throughout, and the other hand finger on the opposite pole we have placed, it will be raised passively. It means fluctuation test is positive. Important thing is, it should always be performed in two planes at right angles to each other. And why? It is because to rule out some false positive result, like the large muscles having a bulk of muscle fiber like quadriceps femoris or biceps, they show fluctuation at right angle to its fibers, but not along the line of its fibers. So differentiate the various swellings. This fluctuation test is always done in two dimensions at right angles to each other, right? Size of the swelling will decide the distance between the two fingers. How much distance should be there between two fingers of our two hands, and they are kept as far apart as allowed by the swelling, just to touch the two poles. If the swelling is freely movable, as seen in cases of hydrocele, in this case, we can feel the fluctuation by using our thumb and forefinger of one hand on one pole as the swelling is large, and we compress it and we feel the fluctuation with the other hand on opposite pole, right? This is basically done for hydrocele. Swelling is larger. That's why we are using thumb and forefingers. If the swelling is very small, use Paget's test. We are going to use Paget's test if a swelling is very small. If swelling is large like hydrocele, use your thumb and forefingers. Press it on one pole with one hand and feel the fluctuation on another pole, the opposite pole, with the second hand. Whereas if the swelling is very small, use Paget's test. And what we are going to do in Paget's test, we press the swelling at its center with the help of our middle finger, and we feel the fluctuation, if that is there, with the help of our index and ring finger placed over the two poles of the swelling. If swelling is containing fluid and we are pressing the swelling at its center, we can feel the fluctuation. And in this case, the swelling will be softer at the center than its periphery. If the swelling is containing fluid, that is cystic in Paget's test. Whereas if the swelling is solid, it will be firmer at the center than its periphery. If very small swelling is there, another method, the watching fingers of our left hand, we are discussing about a right-handed medical personnel. Similarly, we can just change the side in case of left-handed medical personnel, right? So for a right-handed one, we are going to keep two left hand fingers to fix the swelling, because the swelling is very small, and these fingers will be called as watching fingers, and with the help of right index finger we are going to displace the swelling, and movement felt by the watching fingers, right? In few patients, if swelling is very large, so watching fingers The role of watching fingers will be done by the palmar aspect of four fingers of left hand for a right-handed medical person and palmar aspect of four fingers of right hand for a left-handed, the left dominance, the medical person, right? So displacing fingers role will be done by the three fingers of the right hand, and they will provide pressure over the swelling in a very large swelling, and that can be, the fluctuation can be felt by the palmar aspect of four fingers of left hand, right? Sometimes if the swelling is very soft, it may yield the false positive fluctuation test. For example, especially in cases of lipoma, or if the fibroma is very soft, the vascular mesenchymal tumor and myxoma. These are the differential diagnoses where we can have a false positive fluctuation. These swelling yield to pressure, but they fail to expand in all direction. And expansion in all direction after applying pressure is a characteristic of a true fluctuant swelling. So this is not seen in these swellings: lipoma, soft fibroma, vascular sarcoma, and myxoma. Right? Then comes the fluid thrill. Fluid thrill is basically seen in swellings which contains fluid. Fluid containing swelling is important, and tapping on one pole generates a percussion wave, and this percussion wave travels to the other pole, and we can feel it by the other hand. This is fluid thrill. If the swelling is large, we can tap with two fingers on one side and feel the percussion wave on the other side by palmar aspect of the hand if the large swelling is there. If the swelling is small, three fingers are placed on the swelling and we tap the middle finger with the finger of other hand, as we are supposed to do in the percussion part of any examination, and this will generate a percussion wave, and it is felt by other two fingers on each side, right? So that was fluid thrill, most commonly seen in cystic swelling or a swelling containing liquid, fluid thrill. Then in today's video, in this video, the last point we are going to discuss is translucency. A swelling can transmit light through it. A translucent swelling will transmit the light through it, and it is suggestive of the content of the swelling. The content is usually water, serum, lymph, plasma, or sometimes highly refractile fat. These all things are having a clear fluid. So usually the swelling is fluctuant and translucent, and one of the example is hydrocele. But if a person is presenting to us with a swelling and whose content is either blood or pultaceous material, means the swelling is fluctuant but not translucent, the options could be, the differential diagnosis could be dermoid cyst or sebaceous cyst, right? And for checking the translucency, darkness is required, and during daytime examination, we usually use roll of paper holding on one side of the swelling, and we are just keeping the torch light on the other side of the swelling just opposite to it, just touching the swelling, pressing over the skin part, and if we can see the light through the roll of paper, it means the swelling is translucent and it is transmitting light, as in case of hydrocele, right? So till now we have finished the few important points in palpation. The next remaining points we'll discuss in the subsequent next video, to be continued. So take care, stay safe. Thank you.